right, it's a very wonderful and bright afternoon here at Membly. This is the Marriage Corner Show, and on today's episode, I want to bring you a story from friends of mine whom we've been together with for a while back in school. And today I want them to tell us their story from their perspective, how they met, how the journey has been, and where they envision themselves in 5 or 10 years to come. You know, this is going to be the love journey of Mr. and Mrs. Gitonga. And before I preempt on their story, allow me to welcome them, for them to introduce themselves, tell us their names, and anything else they would like us to know about them. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Kindly introduce yourselves.
My name is Brillian, Cherono Gitonga. We've been married for 5 years, and we serve here at Membly Baptist as youth ministers. Yeah.
Right, Karibu Brilliant.
I'm a trained teacher. Yeah, though right now I am a homemaker.
Okay, I like that. Yes.
Wow, my name is Dennis Gitonga, and it's a pleasure to be in this show. And I'm happy that we have an opportunity to get to share our story. I am a pastor. I pastor young people in Membly Baptist Church in Roiro. Other than that, I am an economist by training, practicing my economics here. I was telling our host that I normally seek to multiply resources for the kingdom of God, the resources that are scarce, as economics would have it. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right. It's a joy and a pleasure to have you guys here. So before I get really excited about this economics and homemaker manenos, please tell us, I'll start with you, Brilliant, ladies first, and tell us where you grew up. You know, what's your life before you met Dennis like? Did you even have dreams? Have you accomplished them? Tell us about your young self.
I grew up in tea estates in Nandi Hills. My mother was a nurse there, so that's where I grew up, in several of the tea estates because of the transfers. My dream was to be a nurse, like my mom and my grandmother. But then I was called to be a teacher at Moi University, and I thought that's a good idea. So that's where I went to train as a teacher, and I'm glad I did. So currently I'm doing homemaking. I chose to be at home for the early stages of our children. Then, God willing, we will see what it goes, how it goes, yeah, in the near future. I'm still passionate about teaching, yeah, and so we are really trusting God to see how that goes. I've been dreaming about starting an ACE school, Accelerated Christian Education School. Yeah, so that's where we are at. Yes.
Nice. I can actually see the teacher in you. You're too articulate. I can see you and quite vibrant and ready to do this. So all the best in that.
Thank you.
Dennis, where did you grow up? How was it for you when you were growing up?
For me, I grew up sort of in a similar environment, but only that now we weren't doing a lot of transfers. I grew up in Kirinyaga, in one of the villages, Central Kenya, a place called, what do I call it? The Kagumo is the most known place, but a village near Kagumo town. I grew up there for some time, then we moved over to Kerugoya town. Where I was coming from, there were some tea estates also, so that's why it's similar, hilly in a similar way to their place. So that's where I grew up. I always desired to become an engineer at some point, up to I think about Form 2, when I decided that I think I wasn't so sure. So actually, Form 3 is when I changed, but I had always wanted to become an engineer specializing in electronics and electricals. because I had this fascination with electrical stuff and machines and how they used to work. Several times, my dad bought me toys and I dismantled them just to see how are they inside. So that's where the passion for engineering came from.
Okay.
But then I think after Form 2, I felt that my giftings and gift sets were slightly different. So I decided to do something else. Either it was to be business or education. I fell into business under the subject of economics.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see the young you. Now you will say you wanted to be an engineer, but I can only imagine your parents thought you were a dismantler. All you could do is break up your toys, you know?
Yes.
So that's nice, nice, and I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. And so you went to the same university?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where your love journey starts, or do you wait until you clear college?
That's where it started.
Uh-huh.
When we got to fourth year. Yeah, so in third year we were in the same committee, the discipleship committee. He was the chair. I was in charge of new believers. So that's where we got a little bit close. And then at the end of third year, he proposed. Yeah.
Okay. Proposed marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dennis,
Yes.
you're still in school. Why are you thinking of marriage? See, we graduate na kupata job and, you know.
No, I was advised that you need to come out with 2 degrees.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want to live with 1. So I decided, Lord, if it is your will, I would like to get another degree so that at least I have 2 when I'm leaving. So by the grace of God, when we were in that year, of course, through many things that had happened, I felt this must be the girl. And so that's when I asked her, would you consider being my fiancé on our journey towards marriage? So that's how it began. For me, I felt like in the next few years, I'm about to conclude my college education. In the next few years, I'll be considering marriage. So I can't say that if I want to get married in 3 years, then I'll start on the 3rd year to look for the mate. So I felt there were 2 prayer items I had. One, I wanted to get God's direction for my life after campus. I had already felt convicted to be in ministry, so I needed God's guidance on where exactly He wanted me. The second prayer item I had was for God to give me a life partner. And so, in answer to that second prayer, she came. And she said yes, and we started our journey together.
Wait, brilliant. Third year, I'm thinking, you don't have another plan? Unakubali tu hivyo?
I'd already completed 3rd year because he proposed in September. I'd even finished my attachment. Then we were to complete that was 2012, and we were to finish school in 2013. Yeah, and so I was thinking in the next 2-3 years, I'll be getting married. So that was a good platform for me. Yeah, I thought I was ready. Yeah.
Okay,
so because I was just remaining with 1 year. Yeah, and if God said it was time, why not?
So you said yes. He proposed and you said yes in 3rd year.
Yeah.
Okay.
He proposed. I said yes. He couldn't hear. It was a funny. It was a funny situation. Yeah. He proposed at a time that I was also trusting God for a mate, or rather to hear God about my life partner. Because during that time I had very many people who were chasing me around, and so I really wanted to know whether this was time, and if not, then I tulia, and that's when he came, and I said, okay, this is the time, and yeah, he proposed. I said yes. Hakusikia, tulikuwa katikati ya stage. Yeah, stage ya LD.
Stage ya magari.
Yeah, stage ya magari.
Wewe Dennis.
Yeah.
Sasa hii proposal ni aje?
Hey,
As
imagine.
in, okay. Now, this is what happened. I had actually planned to propose in a hotel. I had identified a very nice hotel that I knew. I had been there before. So I knew this would be the most conducive place for me. I hadn't shopped around for so many of them, but the one I had gone to, I knew, this would be the fitting place.
Okay.
Sasa shida ikatokea hapa. We got in, and unfortunately, the hour we got in was a busy hour. So, kulikuwa kumechrome. Like, there were so many people in that hotel. I felt, I don't think I want to do it here. So I decided, let me not do it now. So we had a general conversation, asked her a few questions about her background, just to find out a few nitty-gritties that I needed to know before I popped the question. Had some snack. I was actually taking her there for a meal, but alikuwa ametoka kampo akiwa ameshiba. We were actually coming from kampo and heading home. So she was full and she felt like, I don't think I want to take anything. But I insisted. So we said, okay, let's just go. So we took some snack. Did you take a snack?
I took tea.
Yeah, she took tea. I took tea and a snack. Then I realized this is not the best place to do the proposal. So let's just go. On our way out, as I was taking her to her, to pick her vehicle home, I felt now we are going home. And we don't know how long we're going to be home. It was that season where the campus schedule was changing. They were introducing double intake and what have you. And so the holidays kept on pushing. So I didn't know how long it would take before we come back. And I asked myself, if I miss this opportunity, then akienda home kiumane, like kupate jamaa mwingine. Unasikia she had many people that were asking. What will I say? I had my chance. And now that nimeshindwa kuisema in front of everybody else, at least instead I can find like a spot that is easier before I go. And I felt, let me ask, whatever the circumstances. So I just told her, before we go to pick your batatu, let me ask this question. And I asked her. So of course, I had identified a place that was not so crowded, but still, stage, noise here and there. So I said, okay, come what may, let me ask whether we are in stage or wherever. So I popped the question. But the way she responded was not this yes. It was another, gesture to say yes. I think she said, is it? Or something like
and
that.
And then I think he was so set that I'm not going to give the answer then. So when I said he didn't give me an opportunity to even say something. Kanipea miezi mbili, I go think about it and pray, then I'll give an answer.
But you were set.
But then he was not ready for that.
As in, for me, I didn't expect an instant answer.
Yeah.
You wanted her to go pray
Yes.
first about
Yes.
it.
Yeah, you know.
The Christian way.
Yes.
Christian
Shock
way.
on you, she was set.
She was set.
I was set, so he didn't hear my answer. So when he told me he's giving me 2 months, I didn't insist. No, but I'm saying yes, no, I say, okay, probably it was important for me to have that. So that it's not out of just emotions. Yeah, so when I was going home kwa gari, I was like, sasa hizo 2 months naenda kufanya nini?
Okay.
Yeah, but I'd already prayed, and I have an answer. Yeah, but then I thought through still, now that I still had the 2 months, and I couldn't call to say now it's yes, because that's how we had been mentored by our mentor. You don't say yes on the phone, and so you don't say no on the phone.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't text to say yes or no.
Yes, or you don't
If
call.
the person met
Meet in
you
person.
face to face, give the answer face to face.
Yes, give the answer face to face. And even when it comes to breaking up, do it face to face.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's how I had to wait, and I'm glad I did.
And you did. And
Yeah.
of course, the answer was yes. You're here today because the answer was yes.
Yes, the answer was yes,
Yes.
finally.
Yes.
Yeah. In December 2012. Yeah, so that's when I I actually heard from the Lord. I had a word from the Lord, yeah, giving me rest.
Wow.
Yeah, it was from the book of Leviticus, I still remember. And I said, this is the day. Yeah, the Lord has spoken. Now he see me and nimesikia. And so I called him, took him for a walk. Then I told him yes.
You're already in you're back in campus
Yeah,
by now?
campus.
Yes.
We went in campus in November actually.
So now this is the 4th year.
Yes, 4th year.
Yes.
You guys now are engaged.
Yeah.
Was there a
Yeah.
ring, by the way? Ama ilikuwa ile
No, ilikuwa ya maneno.
Okay.
Your word. Yes, yes, no, no. So,
Let it be yes or
yeah,
no.
we actually didn't have a ring. And if you see now, the campus where we were coming from was not into those things, eh?
Yeah.
Those things, oh, color and pompous, you do this, do the other. So what we were starting with was that word. If there was going to be something like a ring, that would come later during now the official engagement, and it did. During the time now we were going for the, Roratio, what they call coito,
Coito,
in
yeah.
their place. There was a ring, so I gave her a ring that day. But this other one was just personal agreement, one-on-one, so that we can now start working together.
On the other now, public stuff, eh?
Yes.
No, you mentioned something very important for me. There is coito
Yes.
and roratio.
Yes.
That just gives me already there's a culture difference of sorts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys do get married. Which year do you get married now?
We got married in 2016.
2016. So
Yeah.
about another 4 years or so.
After?
No, after the proposal. 2012.
2012. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Is
Yeah.
like a 4-year difference.
Yes.
Although it could be more like 3 because it was early 2016 in
And
March.
late 2012.
2012,
Alright, so
yeah.
there's a 3-year gap
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
In this 3-year gap, and you're getting now to learn there's even a cultural thing, it must be different from Rorasho.
Yes.
Yes,
Dennis,
it's
what were
different.
the expectations and how did you encounter the whole experience now that this is Cherono and
Yes.
you are Gitonga? How
Yes.
was it for you?
Well, it was an interesting experience. Let me say that to start with. So, because I had to re-educate myself on their culture of how they handle such matters. So I had friends that I would ask questions, or how do you deal with this? What is the process? Because I was more familiar with my Kikuyu culture. This is how we go about it. But now, among them, things are different. But at least the measures were similar, because there was a show up, go get to know where this girl comes from with a few friends of yours, 2 or 3. And then after that, then you can come for the negotiations, on which then you can do the day where you bring the dowry. And on that particular day of the dowry, they bid her farewell. So they have this whole event called now the coito, where they kind of are doing a goodbye to her. They will even give her gifts. So that's how I got to understand it. But then again, there were a few things about it that were not so clear. Like for example, when I went for the show up with some 2 friends of mine, the perspective on the ground was that I was living with her already.
Okay.
Like they were shocked. You have stayed for too long before coming. I told her, well, we have been in school. What do you expect? But for them, I think they had been familiar with someone can actually be in school and married.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can actually have your wife with you, and then now you come and officiate stuff. So for them, they were very shocked when we said we haven't been living together. So that was a shocker for me first. It was a culture shock. So tukaanza kujitetea. I had a guy who would use some Nandi. So wakaanza kuongea na the grandfather, explaining the situation, a bit of Kinandi here and there. So that saved us a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it went.
But it must have been so interesting for you, that whole culture thing,
Yes.
just jumping
Yeah.
from... And for you, when you went to now their side, I'm sure there is also a ceremony Is there a ceremony where maybe you're supposed to meet his people, or that is the day?
No, it wasn't a ceremony. Of course, I did meet his parents, yeah, and relatives. Yeah, but it wasn't a ceremony as such.
Okay.
Yeah. I would mention something about how the culture differences that we encountered during our koito. Because now my relatives were like, you're marrying a Kikuyu.
Yes.
So they kind of had an idea of how Kikuyus do things. And for me, I knew, I'm Kale, so they are supposed to do things Kale way. Yeah, so there was that mix-up when they came on the D-Day. And in our culture, we bring animal. We bring cow, physical cow, not cow in terms of money. And so when they
Living
came,
animal.
yeah,
The
living
animal
animal
needs to walk into the
Yes,
homestead.
they walk in, yeah.
This one has to come memo.
Yes.
No, it's
Yes.
ng'ombe, mbo,
With
come.
colors, like
Yes.
how does that animal
Yeah,
look like?
look
During the
like.
negotiation, they want to know, how does it look like? It has a white spot here, it is black, you know, it has a white on the back, you know.
Yes,
So that
yes.
by the time they are coming to see it, they are able to remember the marks you said and confirm, this is the animal
confirm.
you talked about.
Did he
Yes.
bring animals?
No, he didn't bring animals. Now coming from Mount Kenya, he wouldn't have come with animals.
All the way
So,
from Kirinyaga.
yeah, from Kirinyaga to Nandi Hills. So they decided, let us make the cow into money. And that was really a new idea. So it brought,
There was tension over
yeah,
that.
there was
Yes.
tension for a very long time because
4
I think it
hours.
was, yeah, like 4 hours.
Over the cow fitting in a pocket, you know?
Yes,
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 a cow
yes.
fitting in a pocket is not that easy. Yeah, but finally we thank God.
Mngeenda kwa soko hapo Nandi mnunue ng'ombe.
Sasa unajua venye mtu amejipanga inakwanga hivyo.
And then
Umejipanga
it is going
hivyo.
to be very cumbersome to start carrying cattle
Yeah.
over places. And then sasa unajua mnaenda kununua ng'ombe. How do you have not bought cattle before? Of course there were people in the community from the people I was coming from who knew how to do it. But then again, we felt this is the 21st century. Things easily can change. You can say, okay, how much are you valuing your cow? Okay, I have 5 of them, I have 1, I have 3 of them, you know. Unless now the challenge was that for them, they are not used to this.
Yes, and for Kikuyus they're used to this. They turn like goats into money haraka tu. So huku kujua tujazoea hiyo maneno, it was not really easy.
There was a standoff. We even
Yes.
had to walk out kidogo, tukanongonezane, you know. Okay, now things have gone this way. How do we go about it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was quite a culture shock in a way. Yeah, both for them and for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you finally got the girl. 4 hours
Yes.
later ulipewa msichana.
Yes,
4 hours
nilipewa.
later alipewa msichana na
Ukapewa
tukafanya
mazawadi.
tukafanya sasa farewell. Farewell, like a proper farewell.
What is that like? I've not
It's
attended
more
one.
it's more like a wedding, because after now you've been given the girl, the mother, his mother is supposed to like welcome me to her family, give me like a leso or something. Then I'll be taken by my aunties back to the house, then dressed for the next occasion, for the farewell. So nakuwa mpaka na wasimamizi na keki, tunakuja tunakata, we come out, dancing. Yeah, and then I'm given gifts from both sides, them and also my relatives,
That's colorful. I can
Yeah.
already see the colors. What were your color schemes?
purple and white.
And when now you actually have the white wedding, what were the colors then?
Still purple, white and gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Royalty.
Royalty.
Kabisa.
Sawa,
Yeah.
sawa.
And the priestly touch.
Yes.
And the priestly touch.
Royalty and priestly touch.
Priestly and
Yes.
royalty.
You see, the
Yeah.
purple is priestly.
It's priestly.
Yes.
You guy.
Yeah.
Who chose
Huh?
these
You
colors?
should know people.
Who chose these colors?
Me, I did choose these colors because I love colors, and so I was really confused about what colors to choose for my wedding, and so I thought I should hear God about it. Yes, and as I was doing my normal Bible reading and quiet time, yeah, so that's what came to my mind, purple and gold for priestly and royalty.
Wow, I like it. You're actually very colorful.
Yeah, you see the color?
Yeah, I see you. You actually love color and
Yes, I
pop
do,
and
I
this
do,
beautiful. All right, so you do get married now.
Yeah.
The one that we all know, the
Yes.
Christian white wedding in
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
Before that, had you done any marriage counseling?
Yeah, we did marriage counseling by our bishop who officiated us in Kerogoya, and we still did marriage counseling with our best couple. So we would travel to Eldoret for our counseling sessions with the best couple, and to Kerogoya for the counseling with the one who was officiating us, our bishop. Yes.
Right, so by this time, for you to say you are traveling to Kirugoya, or else to Eldoret, where were you living? Because by now, obviously, you're done with campus. Are you in the corporate world? Are you in ministry? What's happening right before the wedding?
That must have been, okay, after campus, I worked with two ministries, two organizations. I did Focus as a STEM staff, and then the next year I did with NCCK. There are times I was coming from Nairobi, because I was based in Nairobi when under Focus. Then there are times I was coming from Kisumu. The following year after now, I went to NCCK. So she was coming from Juja.
Yes, Juja
Yeah.
or Nandi Hills, because Nandi Hills is where my mom is. But most of the time, because after campus, I also went to Garissa for a year as a volunteer missionary. And then when I came to Nairobi, he moved to Kisumu. So I was in Juja. I did a 1-year mission school called Dangaza. Yes.
Oh, all right, so your best couple takes you through the counseling sessions, plus now the bishop in Kirugoya.
Yes.
And are you still bested by your best couple to date?
Yeah.
Yes.
They still go for counseling?
Yes,
Yes.
we do. When we are stranded, yeah, we go for counseling. We call. Yes, I remember there was a time we had an issue, and he told me to call we call him Dad GK before I go.
Yeah.
What was the issue? He weren't. You even had to call your best couple. What was it? Brilliant.
I think it was an issue about roles.
House chores.
House chores. My husband was like, I am not doing my best, or really what he expected. Yeah, and so he wanted me to wake up and prepare him for work. And me, I was feeling okay. You're the one who is waking up. You can do that. I will do the rest of the things during the day, because I was saying, I'll do the lunch. I'll do the dishes. I'll do your supper. So it isn't a big deal for you to just do your breakfast. And he was like, no, it can't be this.
I've just gotten married. How can I go back to some of those things?
Upate msaidizi.
Nimepata msaidizi. Kwani anasaidia nini?
Anasaidia nini? And me, I'm like, mimi ni msaidizi. Yes, I'm not the main guy. I'm even nimekuja to help, not to do.
Not to do.
Yeah, you know.
I understand.
Yes.
But then, did you manage to get through that? Now, who serves who wakes up to prepare? What happens now?
After that, we called our best couple, and actually we went to Eldoret.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you are not waking up to serve him tea.
Yeah, I know that became a big issue.
I think there were quite a number of issues that we were tackling that would, like now, you see now where she's coming from, everybody can do everything.
Yes.
Or anybody can do everything, or anything. So I'm coming from, no, this is the wife's job, this is the husband's job. So, and because her orientation is very different, she wouldn't take that easily. So we had to consult And, you know, eventually there were things that would have to go talk with them. When we are going there, now we iron out those things. We find a temporary solution.
Yes.
In the meantime, you'll be doing this, I'll be doing the other. But when we go to Eldoret, now we will square things out very well.
We will ask our parents and hear from them. Yeah, so they really helped us to see how we can go about it. Because of course it was not just tea, it was clothes, who washes the clothes, who prepares dishes. Who is polishing shoes, who will be doing ironing, and many things. Yeah, so we went there and they really helped us. It was really interesting.
Why are you laughing? What happened? Please tell us how they helped you. It sounds interesting.
Okay, first of all, they helped us to understand that because this is our marriage, we are not going to do marriage like other people do marriage. There are people who will have house helps, and so if that is what we want to do, then we can have house help, and they'll do the things that we'll allocate for them. So they asked us to go sit down and decide as a family what is it that will work for us. And so that's how they shared their example, and that's how we decided then to come and see what is it that will work for our marriage. Yes. And so we discussed, and finally, he's actually the one who prepares our breakfast most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yes.
But there are times that I will leave her to do it.
Yeah, so most of the time he's the one who does our breakfast. He's the one who mostly does our ironing of clothes. Yes, as I do the others.
All right.
Yeah.
So you kind of came to a compromise.
Yes,
I would
yes,
say.
yeah.
But meals ni kama ulibaki ni wewe unapika.
I do most of the meals, and I'm okay with that, because if he decided that I'll help you in the meals, because breakfast is also meal, I will help you in doing the breakfast. I thought it would be unfair for me to push further. Let me be nimkubalie as a compromise, and I'm glad that he did that, because either way I'm not taking it for granted. You kuna mtu angekata aseme that's why I married you. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Nikasema tosheleka with that for now. Yeah, but of course when I'm expecting, he's the one who does the meal. Yes.
What's your favorite thing to cook, Dennis?
Do I have a favorite?
Ile go-to. Your go-to meal.
I'll do one of my favorite as a bachelor would be rice, viazi, and dania. Those are the ones that now she actually likes it. I don't know why.
I like how he does it. And so whenever we actually do that meal, I request him to do it for us.
Trust the Kikuyu to have waru somewhere.
Yes.
Waru, lazima.
Yes.
So those are some
the
of
mixed
the
one,
you know,
the mixed one, yeah.
In my house we call it pilaunjeri.
That one.
Ni pilao. See
That one.
Now, mimi ndo nakwaga pro. So that now, as she's saying, even when she does it, I taught her how to do it. But she still feels there's something missing.
Yes.
She needs the hand of this man from Mount Kenya to intervene.
So it's not like you don't do it well, but when he does it, there's something about it.
Yes, I tell him, I like the way you do it. I don't know whether I don't know.
Or you just want him to cook it?
I don't know. I just like the way he does it.
Now this one, it is just that she wants me to cook it. There's a day she did it, and I told her, now this one, umefika. Hata I think umenipita, because she did it so well. I enjoyed it. I was looking forward. And she cooked quite a lot. So part of it ikabaki. They were eating it, I think, for the following day. So when I was coming, I was asking, ile rice iliisha? Because I felt like, this one, I need to take it more. But then even with that, when she's become a pro, there are times she feels like, could you kindly cook us that meal that you normally do?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned when you're expecting.
Yes.
That tells us they are babies or a baby.
Yeah, they are babies.
So how many do you have?
I have 2. Yes. Oh, we have
Boy,
2.
girl?
Boy. We have a girl called Furaha, and a boy called Faraja.
Faraja.
Yes.
So there is Furaha and there is Faraja.
Yes.
Dennis, ni mpaka hapo ama kuna fanaka na furahia and the
na
F continues?
fadhili.
Na fadhili.
No, you never
Are there
know.
more coming?
Trusting God as we go on, we are trusting God for more blessings.
Yes.
So I think tukifika mahali tutaamua where tutakwama. But I think we are still trusting for more.
Okay.
In the meantime.
There's room for more.
There is room for more. Yes.
Someone told us that 2 is replacing ourselves, 3 is addition,
Yes.
4 ndio sasa tumeanza kumultiply.
Multiplication.
So,
Yes. Yes.
So kama hujafika 4 bado haujaanza to multiply and fill the earth.
Yeah. In fact, if you just have to, you need to think about now the addition because you haven't added.
yeah. So we are really trusting God to see how much He wants us to do.
Sawa.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are going to take a very short break as I also allow them to have a sip of what is before us. And we will be back. This is the Marriage Corner Show, and my guest today is Mr. and Mrs. Gitonga. See you in a bit. Welcome back. We've had our break. This is still the Marriage Corner Show with Fiona. And our guest today, Mr. and Mrs. Gitonga, is still with us, telling us about their first year or so when they had this conflict about roles, which I would imagine is normal for any couple. But before we get into so much, allow me to go back to them and ask them, once this was established and you got to now agree that roles are for both of you, or you got to a compromise. Has it been so up to now, or are you still struggling with this role issue?
Well, I think roles is one of those challenging areas in marriages. Most couples will struggle in that because what you're used to is different from what now is happening on the ground. So what we have tried for us is, as much as there are things that we have really not settled completely, is to help where possible. So like now, the way she mentions that there are times that I will do breakfast for them, because normally I will wake up to go to work. So there are times that I will say, well, let me help out here. So I'll do that. There are times when she is like now unwell, and I'll come through and help. And there are times that there are roles of mine that she will actually come and help. Like now, in our first few months of marriage, I wasn't working, but she had a kibaru somewhere that she was doing, and she was earning some money. That's what pushed us through those days. That was my role to provide, but she took it up, helped. Of course, we did the planning together, and that was my role she took. So even when it comes to her roles, there are roles that I will occasionally, not every time, occasionally help because she is likely to be more at home with those roles than I am. So even when I come through for her, it's more from a helping hand. Okay. Yeah.
All right, brilliant.
Yes.
If I could ask you, we know when one gets married, and for you got married quite fast before you had all this exposure into the world and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, now that you settled into marriage, do you at times go out? Do you have girls outings? Do you do the girl things, outings with your girls and stuff? Ama wewe uliolewa na umekaa hivyo?
No, okay, we realize that it is important to still keep the girls for peer, and then for mentorship also. So working, especially now working with the young people, the youths, we find it's a ministry for me to go out with the ladies because I'm actually in charge of the ladies wa youth church. So when they have things for the girls, I also take part. Yeah, he allows me to go for 1 or 2 sleepovers. Yeah, with the girls. So you go for swimming,
even bridal showers.
Bridal showers, that is actually one of the major things that, that I do. Yes.
Okay, and Dennis, unaenda out na maboys?
Yes, I do. When the young men are having hangouts, we will go together. But also with other friends outside now, the church. We will have some hangout, but kidogo. I have discovered that when you get married and there are all these and you're working and there are many other responsibilities, that it is now work to actually start getting in touch, keeping touch with some of the friends you had before you got married. It has been made worse by the fact that there are some friends who, when you get married, decide that guy has left our club. So they even reduce the times of chatting with you. So you have now to be the one to take the responsibility, because you don't want that friendship to end. I think maybe this is me, but maybe for most people that are singles, when your friend gets married, you think that they no longer need you as a friend, or they have changed, levels. So there's really nothing much in common you have. But for me, I have felt these are friends that I want to keep. So I reach out to them deliberately so that we keep in touch. Yeah, but as often as possible, we will go with the young men in church. We will have some chats together here in church or out there. Yeah.
Right, that's wonderful. And now that you talked about pastoring youths and teens.
Not youths.
Youth only. We have a teens pastor.
We have a teens pastor.
Also, you guys just handle youths.
Yes.
And these are what ages?
That would be colleges. That is probably between 18 and 23. And also we handle those that are working, young professionals. So starting into work about 2-3 years into work, 4 years. So any age between 18 and 30 becomes part of the people that we minister to. Yeah.
Okay. How is that like? Because this is 2021. Back when I was young, siku zetu, I don't think youths back then, even before us, I don't think youths knew as much as they do today. So when you talk about pastoring youths, what is it that you guys are gearing towards more? Like what is your goal when you're with them? What is it that you want to pastor them into or about?
So mostly the usual things that young people go through. So we will have issues of relationships and purity. We will tackle issues of finance. Most of them are just getting into the job market and getting their first salary. How do I manage? And we have a program particularly fashioned for guys in the young professional world called Inspire that tackles those issues of starting out at work relationships, boss and, workers, relationships, and all those things, the challenges in the marketplace. Then we will also, of course, handle spiritual issues, discipleship matters. How do I grow in my walk with God? What are some of the things that would go into my becoming a better disciple of Christ as a young person? We would also have times of fun together. We will go outing, hiking, Gong or wherever else, do some camps for a whole 2-3 days out there in some other place, just to see that we are integrating all these things together. Fun, spiritual growth, issues of career and academics, matters to do with interpersonal relationships and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Now that he has talked about purity, allow me to backtrack to your 4th year in campus.
Yes.
You engaged couple in campus.
Uh-huh.
How did you handle purity in campus?
I knew you'd come there.
Did you manage Brillian?
I think it wasn't as hard because of the accountability that we had, the accountability structures. My roommate was the CU vice chair. Yeah, so that was one, and he was the discipleship chair. But we also made a few rules for our relationship when we started. we agreed that we will not meet in closed rooms. Yes, so even in campus, we wouldn't lock our room if we have to be in the room. We don't lock it with a key or whatever. Tunaiacha tu kama tumeisukuma so that mtu yoyote akikuja anaweza ingia tu, you see. So that was one of the things that really helped us. But another one would be we used to meet in open places. Yeah, like it's better for us to go for a walk and talk, or meet in a field somewhere. Yeah, or go to our mentor's place because he was living around. Yeah. Yes, so
I had to ask. Campus purity, that is a challenge by itself.
Yeah. I think maybe before even you go on, the issue of accountability was so key for us. For me, it helped a lot. Our best couples were, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Gishimo, Evelyn, GK, and GK himself would hold me accountable personally, making calls to me. If he knew that we were going out or we were somewhere, and especially after campus days, post-campus, if he knew, because we used to keep in touch, so he would know when she's visiting or when I'm going to visit. So those times he would really be keen on me to ask me, please make sure that that girl leaves your home safe and sound. Yes, do not go to those extents that you are likely to be tempted to go to. Ensure that hautafuni huyo msichana. Those are the words that you actually use. Typical GK.
Yes.
So because I knew that even after that visit, he would really get in touch to ask, I used to be very careful.
Yes.
That I don't want to call him to call, and I'm starting these sad stories, working on words to explain myself. So even when the temptation was there, very strongly, that helped me to keep sober. Then of course she was very disciplined. She is those people that are very disciplined. So she knew some of the measures to put in place to ensure that we do not go to those extents that would involve us getting tempted to go overboard. In our walk together.
Even clothes.
Kindly share those measures.
One was clothes. Like what clothes I wear. If I meet him and I'm like, and I wear something that makes him get a little bit excited, I'll never wear that cloth again when I'm meeting him.
Okay.
Yes, I never used to do lipstick or even lip gloss because it really used to affect him.
That would excite him.
Yes, so nikijua leo tunakutana, I just avoid to tempt him, nakuwa too natural.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam, ulikuwa mama kanisa from the start.
Well, mimi sikuwa nataka aibu ndogo.
And
because our relationship was made public like a week in the CU.
A week, thereabout.
Yes, in the CU, a friend of ours said Gitonga is in a relationship. And so after the service, everyone wants to know, Gitonga, who are you dating? So we knew everyone is watching.
There were eyes all over campus, like you knew anybody. And you see now the CU was about 1,500 guys, and that has been said in the CU. So you don't want to be the one to profane the name of the Lord in misbehaving.
Yes.
Plus, even when she would come to visit me, like now when I was in Kisumu or in Nairobi, I ensured that I had planned a place where she would go spend.
Yes.
So even if she were to take a meal in my place, she wouldn't spend there. I would organize either with one, because I was working with students, I would organize with one of the students, lady students, to host her. In Kisumu, I would organize with one of my couple friends and ask them, hey, would you kindly host my fiancée? She's coming around. So every time, that's what would happen. That helped me a lot. It kept me sober.
I can imagine. Because okay, sawa. Hii ni dunia tuseme tu kweli. If she has traveled all the way from Nandi to Kisumu or even here to Kisumu. Si mtu pewa zawadi, you know, and if we are dating, you know that's life. So I can imagine the temptation was higher.
Very high.
Also when she makes the trip or you make the trip. And I'm grateful that you guys made it.
Yeah, we thank God for you.
I wish I could put this mic down and clap for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy. We must not make it look like it was easy. There were many times that were feeling like we can just forget about this thing and go on and enjoy ourselves. But I think all those other things that were coming really would put a check on us. So it wasn't easy at all, and it's not going to be easy for anybody. Especially, this is a girl you love, this is a young man that you're interested in, there's sexual attraction happening, there is all these things that are around them that make you feel like you want to grab them, you know. So it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't easy. In fact, on the Friday of our wedding, the wedding ikuwa kesho, I actually thanked God. God, thank you that nimefika hapa.
Yes. After tumeachana, because that we got married in Kerogoya. So I went to Kerogoya because that's why I was picked in one of the friends who go Kerogoya. So that day we met to finalize, do rehearsals and all that. So when everyone was in their place of stay that night, wasema wow, finally. To manage.
Yes.
And you, of course, now you know tomorrow is
the day.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. For the rest of my life.
We really thank God for that.
I celebrate you. Personally, I celebrate you. It's no mean feat. It's not easy. We have to acknowledge it's not easy. But you made it, so at least we can. Hata mtu ukishindwa sana, you know, nitakupea number ya Dennis for those tips. All right. So if I may ask you guys, you've acknowledged the fact that when you're dating or courting, this is the person you love. But now before you get there, what attracted you to this girl, Dennis? For you to say she's the one, when you're yet in campus, where we know campus is full of them. You know,
Yes.
there are more girls than boys.
Yes.
So what attracted you to Brillian?
Okay, let me start with saying what I was looking for.
Okay.
I was looking first, of course, for a Christian, a fellow believer, number one. Number two, I was looking for a person whose Christian perspectives and values were, were similar to mine. That I wouldn't start now quarreling with them over their perspectives and their convictions and values. So there wouldn't be any battles there. But then I was also looking for someone that would be beautiful to me, that I would find attractive. That even if she has all these, sometimes you may say, I have this, the beauty doesn't matter. No, I was also looking for beauty. I was keen that this would be someone that I want to look at and enjoy looking at. So she fit those three qualities. She was a person who I would find very devoted to God. She would wake up early to go for prayer and for Bible study. She would be those people that were actively serving in the ministry. And also, she had the looks that I was looking for. And of course, when I saw her, I felt, this girl is good. I think I don't mind spending the rest of my life with her. Yeah.
And do you mind now?
No, I don't. I have what I was looking
for. The rest of my...
the rest of my life, as in... Yeah. Of course, now in marriage, when you're getting married, one of the vows you make is for better, for worse.
True.
So, marriage has in it the aspect of commitment, regardless. So even if she were to change, even if I were to change, I have already committed. But now, already, what I'm marrying is what I want to marry. The looks are there, and the makeup of the heart is there, the mind is there. So I think that's not going to change.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then you see now, when you have someone that you love already, because of the inner them, even if the physicals change over time, you are able to know that what you really are in love with is not just the outward, but even the inward. So that keeps me going. But she still has the outward, and I'm happy for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. That's some good praises on you. Keep up. Please keep up. That part kwanza ya heart na mind. It's crucial. And sema ndio la kwanza mbili. For you, Brillian, what was it about Dennis? Or still, what makes him ideal today? Because for you to have lived with him 5 years, kuna kitu yenye imekuweka kwa your relationship.
Maybe before she goes, I forgot one other that was key. Because I was convicted that I was to be in ministry, one thing I was praying to God, please God, give me someone that would not be a stumbling block to my serving you. There would be a life partner, a friend, but also a ministry partner. And in her, I have found all those. Yeah.
I'm glad. For me, I just had, I think, one very major, and that was someone who truly loves the Lord. Yeah, because there are people who would say they are born again, but kuna tu venye, they are not serious. Yeah, so after interacting with him, I knew he loved the Lord for real. And so even when I thought to myself, even if he has a character that is not so good, because he has a relationship with the Lord, that wouldn't be a problem to me. Kwa sababu Mungu atamsaidia. And I think I've seen that over time. Yes, God changing him in to be a man that I would want him to be. And even the times that we had conflicts, I would talk to him, but I would also talk to his father, God, you know. Mungu, sasa huyu ni mtoto wako, sasa ona venye anafanya, mimi sifurahi, so you do your will. Yes, and yeah, we thank God that we have come this far. I still love the way he's devoted to God, him serving, and also how he values me. Yeah, as a wife, as a friend, as a ministry partner. Yeah, and we thank God also for the church, because it has opened that platform for us to serve as a couple. Yes, and so when you've heard him talk about the camps, we go for the camps, all of us. Yes, we go as a family. Yes,
with kids.
With our kids, tunaendanga zote. Yeah, together. So we find that a joy for us.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Now, it turns out that he was very excited about serving with you in ministry.
Yeah.
But when he started out, this guy was jobless.
Yes.
And ulikuwa na kibarua, like he said, you know? It wasn't like a job per se. How did you guys survive the first few, was it weeks, months, before he finally landed this job? One thing when we got married, he wanted us to push our wedding to a later date, because he hadn't gotten a job. Hata mimi si eti nilikuwa sure pia at that time. But then I said no, this is the time. This is the time that God gave us as a date for our marriage, and we are not sure even when we push utakuwa umepata job. Sasa sisi tufanye tu by faith. Let us do by faith, think hizo zingine zita follow. Yeah, so luckily God came through. What we survived on was more of what we got as gifts for our wedding.
And thank you so much all that gave.
Yes.
You sorted us big time.
You sorted us big deal. But another thing that I remember, just when we came from honeymoon, now his relatives visited us. Now akatuletea chakula mob.
Okay.
So we kind of didn't buy food for like the 3 months. So we just thought that was God's provision.
What?
Yes. Allah. Yeah, so walituletea vitu mob.
3 months you didn't do shopping?
We didn't do
Yes.
shopping for food.
Like we had rice, we
yeah.
had wheat flour, we had maize flour.
Yes, we had
we had
beans.
bananas, we had beans and various cereals.
We had even salt.
Ah, yeah, big ups to Kirinyaga people.
Yeah.
Fanya poa.
Yes.
Sawa kabisa.
Wow, all right. I like that. I love that because the fact that family sorted you out,
Yes,
it's, we can't take it for granted and say it's kawaida. So that's a point to be grateful for. And so now, as we are nearing the end, imagine we're almost there. But I would want us to think ahead. Where do you guys see yourself in 5 years? Dennis, vision bearer. Where will you be in 5 years?
Wow, okay. That's a very interesting question. It was a question I was asked when I was coming here where I'm serving. Where do I see myself in 5 years? The first answer is the same one I gave then, in ministry. The how of that ministry, I don't know. The changes that may transpire, I don't know. But at least I know I'll be part of that ministry. Then, of course, would want to see that as a family we are also even more established, both in our walk with God, but also getting to be able to settle a bit here and there on a few things, educating our kids, getting them through school. At least in 5 years, they should be still in primary school. So we hope to be able to do that effectively. But also we'd want to see that we have touched more lives, ministered to more people, young people and the old alike. Yes, but of course there are bits about the 5 years that we have no idea about, that only God knows, and we keep praying that He continues to reveal and guide us on them. Yeah, so I can't say specifically where the 5 years may find us, but at least I know, one, I'm still going to be serving God. Yes.
Right. I won't ask you about the 5 years, but I'll ask for this, for ministry to be effective, for your spiritual lives to be effective, what do you guys do as a family to uphold that? So that when you're ministering, you're not doing it from an empty place, I would say so. So what's that? Do you have like a calendar of things you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you have a plan? What is it like, Brillian?
We usually do Bible reading together as a family. Yeah, so, and even our kids are part of it. We do systematically from Genesis. So right now we are in the book of Proverbs. So we read a chapter a day. And for the short chapters, we can do 2. And for the long chapters, like Psalm 19, we divided it into 119, very many portions, so that, because now we are also doing with the kids. Yeah, we pray together. We do Gitonga in ministry. Like we do courses together. If there are trainings, we do together. Zenye zinahusiana na ministry. Yeah.
And we've also joined some studies here and there that are offered by people that have gone ahead of us in the ministry, so that also we can get to learn from them. Yeah.
Brilliant. Allow me to ask this for ladies out there who want to marry these ministers of God. Are they what we see? People ignore this guy. I'll talk, mama. Are these guys what we see? Are they that born again mpaka kwa nyumba, or what would you say about ministers? You're a young couple.
I would say yes and no, because even at home he still prays. He's still our minister. He's our priest. He's the one who takes us to God. Yeah, he's in charge of that. So I would say he's still born again. The fact that we can disagree about something, but then come to conclusion. The fact that he can come and say sorry. The fact that he's willing to solve an issue. I would think is godly. Is godly. The fact that he can value me as a wife and as a woman, yeah, nafikiria hiyo ni godly. But now no, pia sababu he has also his weaknesses that he's working on, and that is humanly. Yeah, and we are here to help each other. Sure. Yes, I've helped him to, I give a sober, a sober what feedback. Like when he preaches and I hear, hapo kuna kitu kusema poa. Yes, I will give that feedback, and that's why I feel it's my obligation as his wife to be able to be there when he ministers, because I will give a genuine feedback. Because washirika watasema tu ilikuwa poa, powerful, you blessed us, you know. But me, I'll say, dear Apple, there is something you said, but I don't think that's how it should be. And so over time, we continue to sharpen one another. Yeah.
Do you have pet names for each other?
Yes.
Munaitana aje?
Nimeshasikia moja dia.
Hiyo iko mpaka huku nje. Yenu ni gani?
Sweets.
Ala.
Yes.
Sweets.
Yes.
Yani unaitananga sweets.
Yeah, sweets.
Why not?
Do you do it in public?
Yeah.
Occasionally, yes.
Okay.
Najua sasa because we work together, itatokea tu.
Yeah.
And what's the reaction from laymen? What do people say when you do that?
Well, I think they are used to it. So there are those that will exclaim or like look, amazed. But I think on the most part, because they know we are already a couple, they know those things are likely to come in the process. Because also they have become unconscious. They just come out. Because you don't train yourself. These are the things to say. These are the things not to say. So there are those occasions when they'll come out. And at the end of the day, when I call her sweets in public, she's still sweets. It doesn't change.
Allow me to ask you, Dennis, marriage 5 years later, is there something hard about marriage for you? Like you have encountered,
Yes.
Do you have such an experience?
I would say the whole issue of getting to understand this person and live with her. She has been raised in a very different background from mine, other than, of course, the physical aspects of T area and T area. But her upbringing is very different. So me getting to understand her and learn how to live with her as that, without having to force her to become me. Because there are elements about her that I feel like, I wish this one, you did it this other way, or I wish here you are this way. But learning to accept that she is not me and accepting her that way has been a journey. And of course, in the area of roles and responsibilities, the early years of our marriage had quite something around them. Right now, I would say we are more like settled. We are at home. So that's the thing that I would find hard. Yeah.
All right. And Brillian, is there an experience or a part of marriage that for you has proved what I would call kizungumkuti? For no better word.
No. I think just what he has mentioned, we have a common problem. About the issue of roles. But I would say now we have really changed over time. I've also gotten to a point of understanding that this is where he's coming from. And so I shouldn't push too much. And also learning to appreciate. Yes, learning to appreciate this is the much you have accepted to do. That's good for me. And just trust God to see how it goes.
Commonly now is the issue of understanding what is my role, what is her role, and accepting this is my role.
Yes.
So if she comes, she is actually just coming to help.
Yes.
I shouldn't make her now the one doing it. And if I go to help her in an area, it's not mine, it's hers, I'm going to help. She shouldn't make me now the owner of that role. That has also helped us.
Yes.
Okay. Sawa. Allow me to ask you, Dennis, to address this camera and speak to, I will ask you to do the cultural help, you know. This is a Kalenjin girl.
Yes.
You are Kikuyu from, you know, central Kenya itself, right in the middle.
Next to the mountain.
What do you have to say to young men in today's generation that want to marry from different tribes? Do you have a word for them? That's your camera.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I think marriage works, number one. And marriage, whether you are in the same culture or a different culture, works. This is because it is not the cultures that are marrying, it's you two. And you choose how you want your marriage to go. So, and I know that we are coming from different cultures, and our cultures insist on different things. But I think God created us all. And when God directs you to marry a certain person from a different culture, He knows how He's going to help you to be able to manage the cultural shocks that you're going to get or challenges. So it is possible. The most important is to find that your perspectives align. And those that do not align, you work on them together to ensure they align. And the fact that they are already cross-cultural marriages that are already working like ours and many others out there gives us the hope that even if you get married to a person of a different culture, it will still work. And I think it's possible, very possible. Yeah.
All right, and Brillian. For you, I would ask you to speak to ladies who are marrying or are already married to ministers. Because as you said, yes, they're serving God, they're faithful in their work, but at the same time, they're as human as the rest of us.
Yes.
So kindly speak to the ladies married or to be married to ministers. If you have a word for them, that's your camera.
I'd like to tell ladies who are getting married to ministers or who are already married to ministers that one thing you ought to understand that this person is both a minister and a human being. And so because of that, be ready as a person to help this person become a good minister. Like it's my responsibility as a minister's wife to help him be better, both in private and in public. Yeah, so be there to help. Yes. Yes, be understanding. And if there is something that you would want them to change, yeah, let them know. Communicate. Yes.
Communicate.
Yes.
So this is the end of our episode. Time has run out on us, but I want to really thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring my invite.
Thank you for having us.
You could have said, tunajua viona wacha tuende, but still you honored that fact and decided to expose yourselves. This is internet, so you exposed yourselves for my sake, and for that I honor you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And all right, viewers, that is the end of our episode today. I cannot even emphasize more on the fact that this young couple has reminded us that communication and understanding each other is vital for any marriage, be it with a minister or otherwise, to work out. So until next time, please do remember to subscribe. In case you have not, do subscribe to our channel, Gicho TV Kenya. Watch this episode, share it with a friend, and yeah, let's grow together. I am your host as always, Viona Gebenji, and this is the Marriage Corner Show. Kwaheri.